Welcome to the Ave Podcast with Cal C on South Shore Radio.
Oh, we is live on location. Welcome to the Ave Podcast, where we're doing the kind of like a live watch party of the draft while it's going on. So we're going to discuss the draft and intertwine it with everything that's happening in the NBA. Give me 1 second while I go live on Instagram here. Hold on. There you go. Yeah, so I want to make sure I do it right. So I got to do a proper introduction because I haven't done one of those in a little bit. My first guest is one of the all-time scorers in Canada college basketball history, a Hoffa at Durham College, friend of the podcast. And even though he's happy that SGA and Oklahoma City won the NBA championship, he's still from Seattle. So please welcome Anthony Bachelor to the show. How you doing today, sir?
What's happening? Thieves.
What's going on?
Call them thieves.
My next guest is family. But he was also a D1 college player at Citadel, finished his career at Anderson University, is currently one of the assistant coaches at Belmont Abbey College in North Carolina, achieving his dreams of becoming an HCIC head coach in charge. And he wishes, like many of us or all of us in this panel here, that he can go back in time, grab his 18-year-old self, and fling himself into the NIL way of life. Please welcome Terrell McDowell to the show. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good. You're not lying, man. You're not lying.
I really wish I could do that for myself right now. I need some of these thousands, not M's.
Right.
At least some thousands.
Right.
At least some thousands. Last but not least, we have the founder of the Red Rush Ontario's AAU basketball program, South Shore family member, the COO of Team Lightskin, and someone who's young enough to have gone to school with Cooper Flagg's mama. Please welcome Randall Walter to the show. How you doing today, sir?
Yo, always blessed to be on board and with some legendary folks on this pod. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Jay Farrell, what's up, man? How you doing? How you doing? I see you on the messaging. What's up? But yeah,
what
man,
up, Jay?
We're South Shore all day. We're doing the semi-live watch of the party. I figured this would be a good time to talk about the draft as well and talk about everything that's happening within the game of basketball while these young players get their lives upgraded. There's a limited preparation for this podcast, which I kind of did on purpose. I just want us to talk about basketball. And I want us to have a free-flowing conversation, and while at the same time trying to balance that my podcast doesn't get canceled. With that said, how do you guys find the draft so far? Is anything shocking to you or anything that you've seen so far? I'll start with you, Terrell, since you're the newbie.
No, not really. I mean, the first 5 picks, first 2 picks went how I guess we all kind of thought it would with those two, Harper and Flagg. But for the most part, like being in Charlotte, I thought they kind of needed to splash, something to not replace LaMelo Ball, but at least pair with him. So, when the inevitable comes up, one of those guys getting injured, hopefully they stay healthy, but they got somebody to go to. So Colin Knippel, that was a big get for them. And Ace Bailey, I wasn't expecting to go to Utah. So that was a surprise for me. So
I think it was a surprise for him too, but we'll get into that in a moment, because that story is very sordid and it's a little crazy. Yeah. What about you, Randall? Anything you've seen so far that's kind of surprised you, or what are your highlights of the draft so far?
I mean, I think everything went pretty much status quo all the way up to probably the 5th pick, right? And I think we all were expecting him to go somewhere else. I thought he would go a little bit higher, but the fact that his agent was playing around with him, But Utah, I think something's up with Danny Ainge, right? I mean, he's playing games over there because there had to be some type of agreement or something, handshake, wink, wink before the draft. But that kind of, I'm not saying it shocked me, but it's an interesting pickup. I think he'll do well there. And then again, as a resident Raptor fan, not too sure about that pick, right? Not too sure how to make of it. Masai usually, he'll never. He always does unconventional things. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out if we keep that pick or if it gets flipped to a trade later.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising. I think, based on how he loves his homeland the last few years, I think everybody thought that Duke kid was going to get drafted, right? But we were surprised we didn't, which also leads to the fact, like, what in the hell? Remember back when we always used to do the Eastern Conference previews, and I always say, like, what is Orlando doing? We got to change Orlando and change it to Phoenix, because what is Phoenix doing? I don't understand what in the hell they're doing right now. It doesn't. I don't get what they're doing. But Batch, what are your thoughts? What are your highlights on this draft from what you've seen so far?
I'll start off with Ram, what he had mentioned with Utah. Man, I don't know what these guys are up to, man. Like, even for the last couple of years, they've had a solid team. They'll do well in the first half of the season. All of a sudden, I wouldn't call it implode, but they just end up going a couple steps back, and then all of a sudden they're taking themselves out of the playoff race. They got a solid team. So now for them to go ahead and pick up Ace Bailey, who didn't even work out for them, unless they did all their scouting from during the season, college season, and they saw what they needed to see. I mean, if a player basically is trying to tell you that they don't want to be there, why would you draft them? So, yeah, I agree. There had to be some sort of agreement, something like that. It's the only thing that makes sense. One thing that kind of stands out to me right now so far, the Spurs, man, they're moving real sneaky right now, man. They're looking real tough with their picks. And they're all filling guys, too, that could actually do real well with their system, I feel. So right now, I mean, nothing really too surprising. I mean, other than you mentioned Phoenix. Now they got two bigs. I don't know what they're going to do with Mark Williams and then with young man from Duke. I can't even pronounce his name. But come on. I'm not going to try to – I don't even try to say his last name. But but with him, being so raw, like you would expect by him getting drafted that he was just going to go right into the rotation, given that they needed a big early. And then now to bring in Mark Williams, I don't know if they're kind of worried about the injuries that he has from before with Charlotte and kind of having him as more of an insurance piece. But I don't know, man. Me being a Raptor fan, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the situation is because who we picked, I'm not mad at it. I mean, we need defense. So I can only assume that they're picking the guys on the defensive end for cheap that they can keep on the payroll for less. And then maybe go after a real superstar. I should say real superstar because I like Bi. Bi's solid. It's just the injuries that's more of a question mark. But outside of that,
Giannis. Maybe they're clearing the decks for Giannis.
Nah, come on, man. I mean, if they are, cool. But I would love to know who they're gonna give up for that because, yeah, I don't know.
Well. As far as Phoenix goes, again, like, as I mentioned just before we started this, Phoenix has three bigs. They took all of Charlotte's bigs from the last couple of months, which makes no sense to me. And then they drafted this kid now. Again, I wish I could pronounce the name too right now. But he's a big kid though. Big kid with these upside because of his age. But man, like I don't understand what Phoenix is doing right now. Number one, they have. I mean, we already know what they did with KD. They gave up their entire future for KD, and then gave up the rest of their assets left for Bradley Beal. We all saw that was going to be a train wreck. It became a train wreck, and then you basically got back one of your picks, right? Mm-hmm. And you drafted a big. First of all, I think Phoenix got kind of fleeced in that deal. Let's start there. Because, I mean, I like Jalen Green, but based on who the best players are on the team right now, you don't need Jalen Green unless you're actually going to trade him this summer. which you're hearing rumors that might be the case. Maybe next week or whatever it is. But you have an overabundance of shooting guards. You have no point guard, and you have now 3 centers. It's like I don't understand what they're doing. And Dylan Brooks. Like I actually feel a little sorry for Dylan Brooks because I mean he's used to a certain standard of winning. You know what I mean? And this is about to be a whole pepper pot of clusterfuck right now. I don't understand what's happening. I don't get it at all. Like at all. Like Matt Ishbia, it's the owner of the Suns. He's only had the team for 3 years, and he's already knocking on the door of like one of the worst owners ever already. Like it's bad, man. Like he has no future. It's bad. Like they have no asset. They don't have no that. I think they said they have no control of their picks until 2031. Other than today. So I don't know where any of this goes. Like, I just think you start over. I think you just trade Booker, try to offload Beal and just start over. Because what is the point? I don't get the point of this. And I think the other thing is, I mean, the trade has been pretty standard. I'm just looking at who's OKC selecting. But I feel like I'm very happy for VJ. The fact that he got to go to I think Philly needed some high character guys, first of all. And that kid, we've heard the stories, the backstories because of Jalen playing there. And, like I had a chance to even talk to him a couple of times. Like he seems like a very nice kid. You know what I mean? That's kind of got his head on his shoulders. And out the 3 of us, out with the exception of Randall, we've all seen him live in person. And like the guy gives a shit. Like he truly gives a shit, especially defensively, and I think Philly needs those kind of guys right now. You know what I mean? And to pair him with McCain and Maxey, that's a nice man. That's a nice futuristic backcourt. And they're all young, because is Maxey even 25? Not even. I don't think so, right? Maxey's got to be like 23, 24, something like that at most. Mm-hmm. I don't even think he's that old himself. So like the future's bright in the backcourt, but I mean, I think that's a great pickup with Edgecombe. He's got a chance to be around some great players, a great, traditional franchise. I'm looking forward for him to be there. You know what I mean? To get a chance to be training every day with guys like Paul George and Embiid, like, for a rookie, it's a win. I think that's a win. It's a win for them too. And I'm glad they didn't take Ace Bailey because I don't know. I don't feel like he should have been there. He should have been. He should have been going there either. But yeah, no, like Sorry, go ahead. Were you gonna say something? Oh, but yeah, no, I just said it, and in the midst of everything that's happened with this draft. So yeah, sorry, OKC drafted Thomas Sobers from Georgetown, their big guy from Georgetown, but. In the midst of everything, there's been a million trades that's been happening right now, from KD going to Houston, from Boston blowing up their team, for the Pelicans basically trading the one of the few adults in the room for Jordan Poole. Clearly, right now, there's something's going on in the league right now, especially with all this parity. But I mean, before we even get to that, what are your thoughts on like some of these trades that's happened so far? Like Randall, for example, like the KD trade. Like, what do you think of that?
I mean, I think Green, he wasn't living up to the expectations. So, Houston needs a scorer. It's kind of, I liken it almost like when Toronto got Kawhi, right? They had that framework of a squad together, but they're missing that one guy that can put them over the hump, right? Yeah. And DD was DeMar was a sacrificial lamb. I think I liken it to that. Like Houston needed someone that can, be consistent as a scorer, and they didn't really have that. They have a great squad, right? But not an alpha. I know KD's coming up in age, but he gives them that edge, right? Put the ball in the bucket, which he does well, and help them win, especially when it came down to the playoffs. So yeah, I liked it.
What about you? What about you, Batch?
I'm not too sure, man. Honestly, I think a lot of these plays. I mentioned it to you earlier today. I think these major market teams are basically trying to get their money back. I'm pretty sure I mentioned from before with some of these podcasts where I think some of these owners that are coming in now are not really basketball minded. They're just in it to make money. So a lot of these decisions that come up are not really basketball plays. They need some sort of advisor or something like that to kind of tell them, like, hey, listen, if you're trying to win or at least create some sort of or generate some sort of revenue, you still got to keep it within the game itself so you can actually be relevant. But I feel like a lot of these major market teams are kind of hurting now because they've all had this plan to assemble their team 5 years in advance. And now with that CBA that came into play, I think it hurt some of the teams that were already ahead of schedule with that plan with their roster. So now when that CBA got changed up and that second apron got put into play and the whole threat of losing picks in the draft, I think has now kind of got everybody scrambling except for the mid markets. So now a team like OKC, which the picks that they have, and then I think a lot of people forgetting about who they picked up last year, that point guard, Nikola Topic. I think a lot of people are forgetting that they still got a point guard to come in next year. He had a whole season to kind of rehabilitate because he had the injury, right? Was it ACL or something like that?
Yeah.
So something like that coming into season, man, Presti, and man, he low key, he might be he a genius because out of the 30 teams, OKC is number 24 in salary, and also looking at
not for long though.
Not for long, but as of this season right now, 24th team out of the 30 teams, you're sitting really nice with your salary. But the reason why I mentioned San Antonio and the moves that they're making, man, they're number 27. And now if you actually look at their roster with De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, Stephen Castle, of course, Wemby, and now you got these two new picks that just got drafted. Man, at first I was saying when the whole Kevin Durant pick came in, the trade came in, I was like, yeah, Houston's about to be a problem. Nobody's gonna be able to get them. They got it defensively and offensively, and their bench is pretty decent. But then now looking at the optics with San Antonio, man, I think low key they're moving stealth right now. I think a lot of people are forgetting about them, especially with the whole injury with Wemby and then De'Aaron Fox later on towards the tail end of the season. Who's that?
No, sorry. I really like well, that's the other thing too with them. I know everybody loves Cooper Flagg. I really like Dylan Harper this season. I thought Dylan Harper was. I think he might have been the second. It shows correct that he was the second. He was the second player drafted. But I really like this game from the beginning. I didn't watch a ton of Rucker games like after a certain point in the season, but man, I really like. He reminded me of like. To me, in the games I've watched, he kind of reminded me of like a 6'4", 6'5" Brunson at times. Like and not just because he's a lefty. Like he was just a tough player. He can score. He can get to the basket when he wanted. Like he seemed like he could kind of do whatever he wanted, being like he's 18, 19 years old. The team wasn't that great, but I just loved his tenacity, the way he got to the basket. Sometimes he would dunk it, but it's kind of reminding me of Brunson. How Brunson just goes downhill. It was a lot of similarities to me when I saw that. So for San Antonio, I'm wondering how that's going to work. Two lefty guards with him and Fox together in the backcourt. I don't know if Chris Paul is coming back there or not. If he is, he's definitely coming off the bench. But I don't know if he's coming back there or not. But it's an interesting mix. Like I guess they're figuring the two of them can play together, along with Wemby, but. That's the only thing where I'm kind of like, it's a little interesting, but I guess you take the best player available, and he's tough. Like, I really like him. You know what I mean? And now you're throwing him into the new Spurs culture. Sorry, you gonna say something, Rand?
Yeah, sorry. See, what's the Spurs salary cap like?
I can look it up. I'll look
Spurs
it up.
Salary cap. For this year, it's 165 million.
It can't be high right now because most of the guys making the most is Fox, right? But what is Fox's contract?
I would think. I mean, they're making some really good moves, and as they always do, kind of like, you know, every decade they kind of re-up and create this, you know, powerhouse, sustainable powerhouse. I think a trade is incoming. They got a lot of young pieces. I don't think they're gonna mortgage their assets to win now, but I think they're one piece to be put them, like you said, to the point of getting to like just below Houston, right? Because right now I think it's OKC, Houston, right? And then you got a few other squads that can kind of go up, but I think they're in that mix. I do, and I think that if they were to pull off a decent trade, they can kind of boost themselves up to, like, I think, you know, to a point of contention. I mean, I know OKC. OKC's a juggernaut. I don't fear OKC. They're great, but I think they're beatable. That's me, right?
That's interesting to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, I look at their squad. They had a great regular season. You know, I mean, they did what they had to do in the playoffs, but I see kinks in the armor, right? And I think through the playoffs, not to say they were exposed because they won, but I think there's some things that could be done to slow them down. And I think, you know, like the Pacers showed it, right? But anyhow, I'll let someone else chime in on that.
Jaylen Brown.
You said Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. That'll be the trade that'll put them over the top because they got the money to afford them. So,
sorry, just to answer Randall's question. So yeah, De'Aaron Fox makes the most, 37 mil, followed by Devin Vassell, which is 27 mil, and then Harrison Barnes at 19, which I think his contract is coming up just now, followed by Keldon Johnson, Wemby. Like, the team is not like it's not an expensive team. But what are your thoughts, Terrell? What about just with some of the trades and like the KD move and just basically what we've been discussing so far?
I mean, what you guys were saying earlier about them just trying to stay relevant, I think that's pretty accurate. Like, KD is not. He's probably got 2-3 years left, playing at a really high level. So, like, I just don't see them making that jump from where they were at this past year to competing for a championship with that just one move. I mean, they might be working on some more, but I think they were kind of reaching for that one. And of course, he had to get out of there because the Suns wanted to get rid of him. But yeah, I don't see them making a huge jump from that trade.
We kind of forget, though, that they did finish second in the West. Like, the West is tough, though, mind you. It's a bloodbath in the West. But, I mean, the fact that they finished second with that roster, you know, I mean, it speaks a lot to Udoka's coaching abilities and, you know, and everything else. But, like, the fact that you're essentially swapping out Jalen Green and, you know, Dylan Brooks for KD. Like, they didn't even lose Jabari Smith.
No, they didn't lose any.
Like, that's insane.
They still got Tara Eason, Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepard. I don't know, man. I
don't know. Yeah. I think when it came down to the crunch time, I mean, they lost a 7-game series because they couldn't score, right? They were missing, like, they needed, like, you had Van Vliet going off, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, they needed someone to put the ball in the hole, and they didn't have it, right? And I mean, I understand, you know, Green, talk about upside, talk about this. He disappeared in the playoffs. If you had someone filling that void, right, of like what did Green probably average? 15 points, 12 points, right? He had one probably good game all playoffs. If you had a consistent 25-point score, I think it changes things. That's probably when they got traded. Yeah, that's 15 points missing.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens though. I know people are saying they're going to be a contender. They're going to be tough though. They're going to be fun. But my thing with KD is, again, I mean, he's not the most healthy guy at this stage. You know, as you get older, you don't get healthier. You know what I mean? And he's missing he's missing at least 15 to 20 games a year easy.
Yo, you don't like KD or something?
What's that?
You don't like KD or something, man? You be shitting on him.
KD, man. I like.
Yeah, but see, does he need to? Does he need? Listen, you need him to be healthy enough to get to the playoffs, right? That's what you need him for.
Sure.
Right? That's what we need Kawhi for the chip. I mean, yeah, he's getting a little, long in the tooth, but what he does, his game is timeless. It's predicated on that mid-range and his length, and he's 37, right? And Ty said he has 3 more years. Think about that. He'll be almost 40, and he's talking about prime. And I don't know if he's going to be in a prime, but I think he got at least 2 more years to average more than 20, right? And that's what they need. They need a certified bucket getter. Am I lying?
Nah, but you know what the crazy thing is? If this was LeBron's name, everybody would be like, "Oh man, he got like 5 more years. It's no problem." I don't understand why we're not giving this to KD though. This doesn't make sense to me.
Right, I'm with you. The only thing I'll say, only difference I'll say, right, Batch, is that KD had that Achilles injury, so I'm not sure how much that slowed him down or took some time off the timeline of his career.
And a foot fracture and a knee injury.
Yeah. But I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, there may be age, durability issues. But again, I thought he's what Houston needed. I mean, what else did they need to put him over the top? They have a good squad.
They needed a scorer, so they got one. So they traded Jalen Green and replaced him. So really, they didn't really lose any. I mean, they lost the defensive side of things.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and that's big. I mean, looking at the 2 teams that were in the finals, look at how good they were defensively.
But wouldn't you now replace Dillon Brooks with a younger guy in Tari Eason though?
Right. Well, I don't know. Yeah,
Did they swap out intensity for intensity though?
I think so, because even so, if you really look at the minute structure, Tari Eason was getting some solid minutes.
Yeah, I like him.
So,
I think yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Dillon Brooks defensively, yeah, he's good, but at the same time, he's still a wild card. You don't even know if that defensive energy he's going to put out gives you 2 technicals. Maybe 1 or 2 plays ends up being a costly possession to where now those 1 or 2 buckets that you got on the free throw line from the technicals now wins the other team the game. That I don't like. It's the same thing with Draymond. Draymond's always just running his mouth, and sometimes I think it's for content for his own little situation that he got going on outside of basketball. But half the times when he starts talking, I'm like, dude, man, come on, man, just play basketball, man. I understand the emotions get the best of you sometimes, but just hoop. We don't need to be doing all that, man. And he has teammates that come to him like, hey, yo, chill out, man. Let's go. And I feel like even when KD was on Golden State and those 2 would bump heads, it would be more of a, Draymond, his emotions just go crazy, and then KD's like, man, this guy's tripping, man. What's wrong with this guy? Yo, dude, let's go. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I feel like the trade that they did with Dillon Brooks from Houston was probably needed, where you have someone more of a subtle defensive player in Tari Eason that could fill that gap, and then now you have someone else to replace in the second unit that could do more, maybe on the offensive end, as opposed to having the second unit being more defensive minded, right? So now I think the team is probably more well balanced in a sense.
Okay, so we are talking a bit about the draft, so I'm trying to mix everything together. What Ace Bailey did it work?
Oh, clearly not. Clearly not.
But we don't Ace Bailey's a weird cat, right? And like I said earlier, right? And what I mean by weird is he kind of marches to his own beat, right? Regardless of what his agent says or not, you know, he took the unorthodox path of going to Rutgers, right? You know, all intents and purposes, from what everyone says on campus, he kind of wasn't one of those guys that had a condo in the city, and you know, he kind of stayed with the team and was just focused on ball. Now that's what I've heard. I don't know all the details and facts. And what his inner circle and people are saying, you know, that's coming out of, you know, his camp and the media, is that he wanted to go to a place that he could be the focal point, that he could be like the franchise is wrapped around him. He can grow, kind of be like the next Ant, you know, that kind of thing. And it doesn't matter about the market, but ideally a small market, so he could be like the main focal point. He got what he wanted.
Wait, Utah?
Yeah. Damn, Utah?
Yeah. I mean,
you still got Lauri Markkanen in there.
Come on,
I ain't talking to team.
Marketing.
I ain't talking to team.
What? You're trying to say he's not the main guy on that squad? Okay, let's forget Markkanen. What about Keontae George though?
No, come on. Ace Bailey's gonna be like, those are good players.
Colin Sexton.
You're right. That's what I'm saying.
We're not talking about Colin Sexton.
This player's ahead of this guy right now.
I mean, not as the best player, but you know.
But in terms of, he said he wants to come off the jump in from the draft onto a team and take over.
Yeah, he wants to be
Markkanen got that in Washington.
No.
So then what was he talking about? What was he looking for then?
I don't think he wanted to go to Washington, did he?
I think he wanted to go to either Washington or Brooklyn.
He actually he did a private workout with.
I know he wanted to go to. I thought, okay, I wasn't sure, but I know there's something there with Utah, right? I think, you know, I think he's going to flourish there. Personally,
yeah, on the second unit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just keeping it a buck though, because really at the end of the day, if you really, I mean, let's go based off of what Utah's been doing the last couple seasons. In the first half of the season, before the All-Star weekend, he's not starting in the first unit. After All-Star break, when Utah says, you know what, I think I want 3 more picks in the first round, they're gonna start tanking, and then they're gonna say, all right, you start, and you can do whatever you want. Because it's crazy, because even last year, Utah was doing well. They didn't start Isaiah Collier, how do you say his name? Yeah. And then second half they started him, and this guy was going nuts. Mind you, solid player. I didn't know he was that good, but he went crazy in the second half, right?
He's good.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that Utah wants to do now again? Have they figured out some new scheme to kind of set up teams to where they're like, hey, you know what? I think I want that guy from your team. I want that guy from your team. I don't know.
And do they try to tank one more time to get AJ? What's his name? The Bansta,
yeah.
Oh man, that would piss me off, man. This has to stop, man. Danny Ainge got to start. He got to be spoken to, man. Take a trip to New York City, man. Go talk to the commissioner real quick.
Because I mean, you know, like he's the quote unquote hometown kid, even though he didn't grow up there. But you know what I mean, though. High school, now BYU. You know what I mean? Can you keep him in state for a third generation? You know what I mean? For a third iteration of his career, can you keep him in state? You know what I mean? Which I mean, I'm sure Ace Bailey won't be happy at that. But I mean, by all accounts, they were just talking about ESPN before. They were saying that this was not one of his destinations, so he was not happy with.
No, I don't think it was, but I think that he'll get some run there.
Yeah,
I despite all the antics, I don't agree with what he did. Let me put that out there. But I think he's one of the, like, out of the top 5 picks, I think he has a lot of upside. Like, you know, we could be talking about this 2 years down the line, and in batch, you're going to be like, man, Rand was right. That's what I think. That's what I think. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, and C knows this. I think Cooper Flagg is phenomenal. I don't know if he's going to be the generational player that everyone thinks he's going to be. I don't think so.
Before we jump into that, let's send it to Terrell. Let's send it live to Terrell right now, being that he's in North Carolina. What are your thoughts?
Man, I mean, the U.S. doesn't really have a player they can latch on to.
Mm-hmm.
that, I mean, I guess you can say Anthony Edwards, but like he comes in with a different following than Anthony Edwards has. Let me put it that way. Like his fan base, I mean, it's gonna explode, right? So just based off of that alone, I think if he has a decent season, like
he has a similar fan base to Dirk and Luka.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, he has a similar fan base to Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Yo, he said Miley Cyrus.
Listen. Maine is my alma mater, so I know all about him.
No, I know.
I know all about him.
Oh, man. Man. I will say this, man.
I'm not downplaying him.
Watching Cooper Flagg on TV and watching Cooper Flagg in person, completely different, man. That young man is composed. He is poised and composed. The one game that we saw at the tournament, when they played against Baylor, Jalen was doing a good job with him. They switched off of him, and the thing is, he just was like, "Listen, we're just gonna play the game. I'll move the ball. We're gonna get buckets. Boom, boom, boom." And then all of a sudden, you look at the stat sheet, or you look at the scoreboard, and you're looking at his stats, and you're like, "When the hell when did he rack up all the numbers?"
Yeah.
He silently moves to where he affects the game in ways that you don't even realize.
Oh yeah,
that kid is that kid. He's gonna be a problem.
Listen,
now is he gonna be effectively a problem with Dallas with AD? Let me take that away. This guy's gonna be injured probably after the second game. But you got Kyrie, AD, you got Lively on that team. Man,
Gafford, Washington.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All them cats on there. And that, honestly, if you really look at it, the state of Texas right now is probably looking to be a problem for the playoffs in the Western Conference right now.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to take that road trip.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You don't want to take that road.
Look, he's in the right environment to grow. He's in the right environment to learn from this. Like they read up on Kyrie, right? Obviously, they see something there from a mentorship perspective to Duke guys. You know, like you said, if AD's on the court, I mean, he could slide into the three, right? I'm saying, do you think he's the second coming of Larry Bird?
I don't know if I go that far.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna go back to what I said. I think he's going to be an all-star. He's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be one of the generational talents going forward. Larry Bird is a generational superstar. Do you guys think that Flagg is going to be one of those guys? Like, again, now we're talking about KD in 4 years. Are we going to be talking about him in 10 years, right? And saying, man, Rand was an idiot for saying that he wasn't a generational talent.
They are going to do everything to try to make that happen. Let's go there. Number one, I think also, Randall, I'm kind of with you a little bit. No, don't get me wrong. I think he's a great player too, but I'm still sitting there like, man, is he generational? Like you see Wemby, you're like, okay,
yeah,
this is a no-brainer. You look at Zion before he got to the Pelicans. no brainer. You know what I mean? This is before he hit the streets and and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Before OnlyFans and Cajun food got to him. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But the generational type of players, like you see it right away. And like I said, I think he's really talented. And I think I told this story before. The first game I saw him when he played North Carolina, all I needed to see was not even the full first half, and I was like, okay, all right, I get it. Like, I get it, got it.
No, he's great. That's college basketball, though, right? Like, shoot.
No, for sure. Yeah. But I understood the hype right there because I'm like, he just dominated everything. To Anthony's point, he dominated like everywhere, every aspect of the game on the floor.
For that's not generational.
Maybe it just
no. I'm not saying.
I think he's going to be really good, though. I think he's going to be really good. Really good.
I'm sure he can get better. I just don't see him being that guy that's the Wemby. I don't see that.
Yeah.
I see a great player. I see an all-star. I see a guy that's going to have a good career. I see a guy that, may be a perennial all-star. I don't see a guy that's going to win multiple championships.
So let me ask you a question. So we've had a few players the last 5 seasons. Actually, you know what? No, let's say the last 10 years. Low-key, mid-range guys, midi guys. But no, the mid-range game hasn't really been brought back. And now we watch Shea as of late.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to jack up threes these days, right?
Yeah.
So now you look at this year where now Shea gets a lot of attention. And Shea doesn't usually jack up threes like that. He's all mid-range. He'll get you. Either he's gonna get contact, get to the free throw line, hit you with the mid-range. Would you say that's not generational to the point where now people are not going to take their game away from the three-point game? Not completely and entirely, but to the point where now it's going to shift back to, hey, let's get back to the mid-range.
Real basketball.
You don't think that Cooper Flagg is able to now come into the league and play a game that's well-rounded to now say, hey, you know what, man, I gotta create my game to look similar to his. Outside of Jokic, but not everybody's 7 feet. So it's a little bit different. He's more of a wing in a sense, right? To where now people say, okay, well, if I'm a wing, I can play the same way as him.
Before any of you answer, thank you, Shea, for bringing the mid-range back as a young player. Because I think that series, I think more than anything, is kind of going to bring the NBA back. Like, it's going to regress a little bit back to the mean. I was saying that in the last couple of podcasts. Thank you, Shea. Thank you. Because he shot did he shoot like that? I think he shot a total like 10 threes or something like that in the whole series. It was something like that. It wasn't a lot.
The Indiana series?
Yeah, it wasn't, or no, actually maybe it was a little more than that. But I think he only made 8 threes or something like that for the whole series. So it wasn't a lot of threes he took. And I'm like, and there you go. Yeah, there you go. But you guys answer. Sorry, because I just want to throw that in there. Thank you, Shea. But go on.
No, I stand by my word. Like I said, I think that he's going to be a great player. Yeah, I'm not denying the fact that he has mid-range, but his game is not. You said something that resonated with me earlier. He has a well-rounded game.
Yeah,
extremely well-rounded game, right? He's not his mid-range, like his scoring he's not gonna be a major scorer for the first 3 years of his career, right? He wasn't even like that really in college.
Right. No, I wasn't saying that he was gonna be the mid-range guy, but I was just saying in terms of looking at how now the game is kind of shifting back to the mid-range game, to where people are not trying to jack up threes. That will be considered. I would, in my opinion, I would consider that to be a generational thing. So in Shea, people are not going to probably try to emulate his game, because obviously our generation is becoming I don't want to say a dying breed, but we look up to like the Kobes, the Jordans, the LeBrons, and now those guys are kind of coming out, and then we got a new generation coming in where we got the Tatums. Is Paul George still in that generation, or is he kind of trickling out now too? He's
trickling out.
They
still buy his shoes though. They still buy his shoes, but he's trickling out.
All right. So and they're like, the KDs they're going out. So now we got the Jason Tatums, we got the Devin Bookers, you know what I'm saying? We got the Anthony Edwards, the LaMelo Balls, if you want to put him in there. I don't know. He's a little too wild for me, but it's all good. Ty, that show, man, because he's out where you're at right now, right?
Yeah,
so so I mean, now I'm saying with Cooper Flagg coming in, now we got some new generational talent coming in. Because remember, Shea's been in the league now a good amount of time. Not a long time, but yeah,
7 years.
He's been in there for a decent amount of time. So now when we're talking about Cooper Flagg hitting his prime, hey, Shea's going to be now maybe, mid-second contract going to that last bag, that third contract, big major contract, right? So now Cooper Flagg will have the impact to where now people are going to start looking at his game and saying, oh, man, I'm going to start hooping like him. Now, again, I guess you can look at certain demographics. Some people might say, I'm not looking at Cooper Flagg to model his game. I'm going to look at someone else. Fair enough. That's fine. But if we're talking about real basketball, you better start picking each person's game and putting it all into one. And I would say he would be the first one you probably start gravitating from, for sure, or gravitating to.
You talking about the Post Malone fan base?
Sure, discuss that Post Malone. He's switching up too, but I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, the Beyonce fan base.
Oh,
The
man,
Beehive.
that's wrong.
No, but it's well. I think it's. I think the thing that Cooper has going for him is, I don't know if somebody mentioned it here before, but just the fact that you're around those type of players who's won chips that are going to the Hall of Fame. In particular Davis and Kyrie. Kyrie being part of that brotherhood. Over at Duke, right? Like just the fact that you're around that kind of culture already. I mean, mind you, let's see what the ownership does. Let's hope it's and let's see if management just keeps it the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? But with all that said, like just to be around that for a couple of years, you go on some playoff runs, and then in about 2-3 years, the team is his, and he's got all this playoff experience and all this know-how at 21. You know what I mean? Like that, and then you're leading the new era of the Mavericks as still a very young player. I think that could be, God willing, he doesn't get hurt or anything like that. That is huge. I think that would be huge for Dallas. You know what I mean? Like, because now you're resetting everything. You're building the team around him, and he's got a wealth of extra knowledge that he's not going to be accustomed to losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually teams that are drafted number one, you're gonna do some losing for a while. You're gonna need some vets. You don't usually get those good veterans until like a couple of years into the league, and he's gonna have all of that right away. I think that's great. I think that's great for him, to be honest.
So, a question for you: looking at Will Clayton Jr. getting picked up by the Wizards.
Yes, I was about to mention that too.
What direction do you see Washington going in right now? Because they're picking up a lot of scoring,
a lot of guards.
Yeah, I don't see no defense, young defense, outside of maybe Koulibaly and Alex Sarr. Who else do they have defensively on that team?
Are they keeping that pick or are they trading it?
Are they? I'm not too sure. I don't know if they're trading it or not.
I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, the three of us got a chance to see him play in person. Like that kid. I mean, when we saw what he did the rest of the tournament, man, he's as steady as they come, man. He's tough. I like him. So I like him a lot too. I think that's for Washington to pick him up. Like Washington's making some interesting moves right now. They seem like they're trying to get a little bit of a better character. You know what I mean? Better, like just better IQ in the locker room. It looks like just the fact that they traded for McCollum. You know what I mean? Like they got an adult there. You know what I mean? Like with Middleton and Marcus Smart, and you know what I mean? Like you can see they're trying to have a certain set of vets around their younger players. Like they don't have that stud superstar young guy coming in on that team right now, or he hasn't materialized yet. But the George kid, is it not Keontae George, Keyshawn George from yeah, and then Bub Carrington. Like they got some guys, like they got some decent players on that team, and Koulibaly's he's solid too. Sarr's not as bad as they thought. You know what I mean? Like everybody thought he was going to be like this wonder bust, and he's not bad.
Yeah.
Time out. See that trade. So I'm trying to keep up with the ticker. So that Washington selection got rerouted to Utah.
They got rerouted to Utah.
Yeah, Utah.
So Clayton Jr. is going to Utah now.
Yo, Clayton is with Ace.
Hold on, but again, that's bad for Ace. He said he want to be the guy. He definitely ain't going to be the guy now.
There you go. I don't know what Ainge is doing because Sexton and Clarkson are they're done. They're on expiring contracts.
Yeah.
So those two are going to probably be replaced by them.
Okay. Well, we're waiting for Canadian Will Riley to be picked up. He hasn't been picked up yet. I think Miami just grabbed his teammate. He's actually pretty nice though. I can't pronounce his name. Isaka. Shoot, I can't pronounce his name.
Is that the big?
No, the guard.
Yeah.
Kasparis. I can't pronounce his last name, but yeah, no, he was pretty good. He was a solid guard. So we'll see. He's in that Heat culture, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, Clayton going to Utah.
Confusing.
It's pretty good.
Confusing.
Yeah. Now you got me on that one.
Yeah, confused, man. I can't figure out
that one. I'm stumped. I don't know.
So let me ask again. Did the Ace Bailey strategy, did it work?
I guess we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out July 1st when was that free agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Free agency pops off. They start really making some trades, trying to free up some cap space and whatnot, and then I don't know, man.
Well, here's another question I want to ask you now. You know, because we were talking about Philly earlier. Seeing the way the East is getting laid out right now, does Philly have a chance?
Yes.
I'm about to drive crazy. Oh wow! What you said that?
To get out of the East? Yeah. Hold on, easy. At the end of the day, when Joel Embiid wants to play basketball for real, not doing this bullshit basketball he does, he's a problem.
Yes.
Yeah. And now pair him up with Maxey, that's another problem. Paul George, not really too concerned about him. He's got to stay healthy. And mind you, Embiid has to stay healthy too. But when Embiid is playing good basketball with Maxey on top of that, that's extremely quick. Man, Philadelphia's still a problem, man. And honestly, I think they actually have a solid bench.
Yeah.
Well, their bench played the whole year last year.
For all the McCain's TikToking and shit, like, yo, he's a tough player, man.
He is tough.
So I mean, you're looking at for the starting lineup projected. You're looking at right now, Tyrese Maxey, BJ, Paul George, Justin Edwards, and Joel Embiid. I'm that 2 spot. I feel like you can slot somebody else in there and use VJ off the second unit, but then you still have Quentin Grimes that showed that he can score.
I was about to say.
Right, you still got Kelly Oubre that's there. I gotta look at these contracts. I'm not too sure if Kelly Oubre's still on the roster.
I think he'll still be on there. Yeah,
still on there. So then, listen, Philly's
still got Reed. Still got Paul Reed.
No, he's gone. He went to Detroit.
Oh, is he gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about Liam McNeely?
They got Adam Bona, the dude from UCLA. He's pretty good.
He's tough.
Is Liam McNeely gone?
McNeely? The dude from UConn.
Yeah.
Oh wow. No, I didn't see his name up here yet.
No.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of his game? Terrell, what'd you think of his game?
It's hard to tell because Hurley runs so many sets, so you don't really actually get to see him play. But I mean, he's a great shooter, catch and shoot type of guy. I mean, really good size. I mean, he's like 6'6".
Yeah.
Like
size-wise, he's a little bigger than I thought. Actually, in person.
Yeah, he's really big guard. So I mean, you could plug him into any roster. I think he'll
be. Is Utah on the clock right now?
Utah's on the clock. Yep.
Man, they'll probably grab him because Utah's doing all this weird shit right now.
They might be pushing to make a trade for somebody if they're getting all these young guys.
I haven't watched too much of UConn play this past season, except for the conference tourney and the tourney. You liking his game kind of like a poor man's version of Grady Dick?
I didn't really watch Grady in college. That's a pretty good comparison. I don't know if he's as athletic, as Grady is, but he definitely can score it. I just don't know if he's brought in to be the guy. Like he's gonna be off the bench.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a role player for a good while, but he might get picked up in the second round the way it's
panning out.
Would you, if you're Atlanta, would you pick him up if he doesn't get picked up by Utah right now?
Yeah, maybe it's decent size.
Outside of Trey, who's your next shooter?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Porzingis.
Nah. I mean, you're a stretch shooter, but you could say that. But you got Will Riley with Utah.
Yeah.
He's missing half the season.
He say second half. You saying?
Yeah, he's missing half the season at least. I'm talking about Porzingis. He's missing not Riley.
Oh, man. Come on, man.
He's missing half the season. At least. He's missing at least minimum 30 games. He just finds a way to do it. I don't know how he does it.
That's crazy how you just came up with that random number, 30 games.
At least 30. It's at least 30 games he's missing.
There's Canada right there. Will Riley just got picked up.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Utah?
Utah, yeah.
Oh, wow. Good for him. Good for him.
Okay, so then what are we looking at here with Utah then? Are these guys basically – go ahead, Cal.
Oh, no. Sorry. I was just going to interject real quick because I think I told you, Randall, about this. Big Brother Curtis, he was running some like a summer tournament in 2023 or 2024. I think it was 2023. And Riley was actually playing in the game. And I remember I was going to leave because we were supporting a couple of our – we're supporting a couple of our friends' sons who were playing in that game. So I was going to leave, and Curtis was like, no. Stay and watch this kid because he was still playing at that prep school in Philly. So he's like, stay and watch this kid because apparently this kid is supposed to be good. And I was watching him, and by the end of the game, I was like, okay, like I need to go on Instagram or whatever. This kid.
See what they say down in the local circles of grassroots ball, like in AAU circuits. It matters where you play. You know what I mean? And Dwayne Washington, I gotta give him a shout out. The founder of UPlayer, one of the founders, runs it right now. Way back, I mean, I've seen Will growing up playing, right? From a small kid, like frail, always working on his game, but I didn't see it. I'll be honest with you, I did not see it. And I remember, Dwayne having him playing up, and I'm like, I don't know if he could do it. He's like, what are you talking about? This guy's nice. He's still coming his own. And I even coached against him a bunch of times. Like, he's out in the London ways for played prep Southwest started as a point guard on a varsity team, right? In grade 9, right? So, and he was doing some work, right? And you could see the length of development. At the time, he kind of reminded me of Ball, right? Kind of floppy, erratic game, but they got it polished up, and he grew more. So he was more of a point, and then Dwayne got him in the lab and turned him into a 2, and Bob's your uncle. He created history, right? And
again,
you plays pumping them out, man. All them all-stars that come from Canada, likely or not, is 2 programs, UPlayer or Brookwood, and they've been doing their thing.
So who's been out from out there now other than him? Shaden Sharp, Shea. I know I'm missing some off the top of my head, but I know there's been I know there's more than that.
What's his name that showed his Johnson to the therapist? He got kicked out the league. Well, hey, he was in the first round, right? What was his name? You know what I'm talking about? For the Spurs, Primo.
Oh, Primo. Oh, he was nice though.
Yeah.
I know.
Trying to think who else?
Isn't Murray from Hamilton or something like that?
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray's from Waterloo, Kitchener-Waterloo.
Yeah, but he played for CIA Bounce, I think, right?
Yeah, CIA Bounce. Yeah. And I think.
So go ahead.
And I think he may have played for Canada Elite when it first started with Thon Maker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mistaken. His last year. I could be wrong, but I thought there was something there.
But shout out to our boy Dwayne, Mr. F45. But I remember he showed me Will Riley's like he went on an Instagram page, and I'm like, yeah, so that kid is good. He's like, oh, we're talking about him being one and done, and he was like, oh, he's already with Clutch. I'm like, well then for sure he's gone. Like for sure he's out of there then. If you saw him with Clutch, and then you saw it, like when you went on Instagram, you saw like Clutch like agency, whatever, like that was one of his tags. I was just like, yeah, well, he's definitely going first round now. Then that's a wrap. So and it turned out, that's exactly what happened, right? But again, did Ace Bailey make the right move? It's probably my running theme at this point.
Well, the pick was traded to Washington, so I think it was a swap of picks.
Ooh.
So sorry, Will Riley is going to Washington now?
He's going to Washington, and I think Clay's going to Utah.
Yeah, these two teams they're all over the map right now. I don't know what's going on with these guys.
Yeah.
I think they're just collecting talent. I think that's just basically what's happening. They're just collecting assets. That's what it seems like. And when you're a young team like that, I think I don't think that's a bad strategy, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because like if you're at the bottom and you just need good talent, then you can make trades and figure it out from there. But as long as you can get as much, you're just trying to get the best players available, right? So I think that's maybe where that's coming from, that mindset, I guess, right? But Washington's going a little deeper because they're trying to get some vets to kind of maybe create a culture in the locker room. So maybe that's what works for them too.
Man, I was hoping that Will Riley was gonna fall to OKC. That would be perfect.
That would have been perfect. That would have been perfect. Oh man, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm gonna try to see if I can show you this. Can you guys see this?
What is that?
What is that?
You know, Josiah Johnson, the co-host of the Gills Arena. He put this Ace Bailey in Utah.
Oh my God!
I'm seeing a lot. I see one color, and everything else is just looking a little bland right now. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's a funny follower.
He's gonna be partying with the Mormons.
Yeah, Saturday only, man.
Everything closed by 9 p.m. Even the clubs.
Clubs.
Couple questions I want to ask because I know the first round is about to wrap up. I figure we'll go into the end of the first round, then we'll wrap up. But which is ending soon. But with the league right now, and I just want to get your thoughts on this because you heard Adam Silver mentioned it earlier, but we're in the stage now of, I think we were in the stage of it kind of before, but especially with the hard cap and everything that's happening now, we are in the era of parity. You know what I mean? Which we haven't really seen before in the NBA. Not since probably like, you want to say maybe like the 70s, where there wasn't really a lot of repeat champions. But like right now, we're in an era where the last 7 champions, there's different teams, right? Other than Golden State repeating, the Raptors, the bubble chip Lakers. Sorry, Terrell, I know you're a Lakers fan. The Bucks.
Sorry, Terrell.
The Bucks, the Warriors. Am I forgetting the team? The Nuggets, the Celtics, and now the Thunder. And then with, like I said, the way this cap is, look at Boston, how they basically they're just dismantling their team, especially in light of Tatum, being out for the year. Do you guys see this being a good thing for the league? And I want to start with you, Terrell. Do you think this is a good thing for the league that we're in this parity era where it looks like we're following football, the NFL?
I don't think so, because I feel like, for me at least, the best memories of the NBA were with dynasties, whether it was the Lakers, the Spurs, the Bulls. I wasn't old enough to remember, but like the Celtics and Lakers going back, and then you had the Sixers in there. Just having that one team to shoot for, even when Golden State was winning, and you kind of already knew it was wrapped up, like just having that one team to shoot for every year, I thought made the NBA better. But just kind of having it just be random, I don't think it. I don't know. It's not for me. I feel like the NBA is made off of dynasties and just going off of that.
With respect to like other sports and stuff, right? Like it's
with respect to other sports, but as far as the NBA, I think the dynasties are what makes the NBA good entertainment, good TV, and that's where you get a lot of those core memories.
Well, with OKC now, I don't know. You might That might be a future dynasty, depending on how things fall. But you know, the history of the league. I mean, they won, so which is great. But you know, history. You know, a collapsing of talks during a contract negotiations could change the whole trajectory of a franchise, right? As we've all seen and watched, like from all these teams and teams we thought they were going to be dynasties from. You know, the Magic with friggin' Penny and Shaq.
Yo, see there?
Seattle. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like we've seen it from even the Supersonics. Like, there's so many teams that we thought that, like, yo, they're gonna be dynasty, they're gonna run it up, and then they're just done. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying this is gonna happen to OKC because they won, and now you got that experience of winning, and you know, and they're set up for the future. They're the one team that's set up properly with this new era of like the second apron, hard salary cap, and everything. But I want to get your thoughts as well. Batch, jump in.
I'd agree with T. Yeah.
You don't think it's good?
No. I mean, you're going after one team every year. You train on the off season. I mean, obviously, you got each conference, Eastern Conference. You're just trying to get out of there. So Eastern Conference is probably like, I'm going after Philly. We got to get out of there. But then in the Western Conference, which most teams are coming from the Western Conference to win it, you're like, hey, listen, at the end of the day, we got to beat this team. I think that's what makes it all best, because now when you got Indiana sneaking in there, I mean, it's good for a little bit, but at the same time, do we really want to watch Indiana Pacers in the NBA Finals? I mean, it worked out for them. Like, they're a good team, but I don't want to watch Indiana, though. You know what I'm saying? And I think that comes with the whole marketing scheme that the league has brought in. We know, again, the major market teams, so you want to see the major market teams. Now, mind you, every Christmas, sometimes I don't want to see, no, I shouldn't say that. You want to see the Knicks every Christmas. But then when they started sneaking in Milwaukee in there, and I was like, nah, yeah, we got to get them out of here. I'm not trying to see Milwaukee in the Christmas.
You don't want to see Giannis play on Christmas?
Nah, man, you and Giannis, man. Yo, listen, I don't know what it is with you and Giannis, man, but he ain't coming.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about whether he's coming or not.
I don't know, man. You over there trying to do the whisper or something like that. Hey, Giannis, please, come here. Come to Toronto.
Yeah.
I want a superstar back in the city, man. That's all it is, man.
Yo, we got BI. That's good enough, man. Trust me, yo. BI's nasty, yo. He's nice.
Yeah, but he on that Porzingis bus.
No. We can't go that far. Nah.
Okay, he's missing 25 games.
25. Jeez. All right, man. All right, it's okay though. Listen, all I can say is, I mean, yes, parity is good sometimes, but I would say for the normality of what we're used to and what we've grown up to seeing, I think, yeah, having the dynasties is probably, I think it's best. I could be wrong. Maybe things do a crazy shift, a change. Yeah. And maybe I'm biased because let's say, yeah, I would love for Toronto to be in that discussion. And most people probably like, I'm not trying to see Toronto play in the NBA Finals again. That was weak. But really, it's just one of those things where, yeah, I'm a fan of the Toronto Raptors. So it comes and goes. Like, I'm a fan of the game, but at the same time, I want to see good basketball. If I see good basketball, I'm a fan of that. But at the same time, I think the marketing behind it still kind of manipulates you to say, yo, I want the dynasty at the end of the day.
From what you're saying too, because you don't want to see the end in the finals. I mean, that to me, was that not a great finals? I mean,
no, it was. It definitely was.
They put on a show.
It definitely was. Like, watching the NBA Finals this year was fun. But at the same time, you also still have to think, listen, before the game starts, I'm like, yo, Indiana's about to get slapped. We were wrong, but then that's when the conspiracy theories come in. How the hell did OKC get slapped by the Indiana Pacers? Now, mind you, they're a fast-paced team, but at the same time, you're telling me that these guys are able to slap them by 20 points?
You talking about Game 6?
Yeah. Again, conspiracy theory, but it just seems off to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Game 7. Well, I mean, yeah, Game 7s are never bad for. Game 7s are never bad for any league, and Derek Queen just went to the Pelicans in a trade with the Hawks. So just to give you guys an update. But Randall, what are your thoughts on the parity era?
I think it's variety is good. You know what I mean? I've never been a fan of any sport of a dynasty, right? That's just personally me, right? I hated the Bulls. I hated the Lakers. I never liked watching. But can't stand the Patriots.
I hate the 49ers, man. They're weak.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, watching that was a nice little shot in there.
I know I caught it delayed. You only bang your foot at the corner of a desk and then it hurts like 2 seconds later. That's what that comment just did.
Like you bang your shin on the side table.
Yeah, my toes throbbing. But go on.
No, I think a lot of it's like anything, right? Everyone roots for the underdog, right? And I think this year was no different. I mean, I don't think anyone expected Indiana to go to the finals.
No, not at all.
OKC, I think that was kind of like, yeah, we see that. I think would have been good parodies if the Knicks made it. That would have been amazing. Even if they lost 0-4, I would have loved to watch that.
Not
just
me.
The crowd alone, right?
Yeah, nah. Hey, them fans, man, they're nasty, man.
That's why I would love to see it.
Yo, that was the best part, man. What do you mean?
That was the best part.
They're too much, man. And the crazy thing is, I got cousins in New York. I'm not trying to hear their mouths. I'm good. Man, that's too much.
Yeah, the best part of the Knicks playoff run, or the second, other than watching them play and watching them at Madison Square Garden go crazy, the best part was going on Twitter the next morning and watching all those crowd shots and the videos. Like, they're insane. They're insane. You can appreciate this. They remind me of the Canadians when the Canadians make it out of the first round and they start flipping buses. Like, they didn't get to that level where they're flipping buses and burning police cars, but just watching them go crazy and just like pack out just like East 34th Street and all them boroughs, and they're just going wild. Like, that to me was hilarious. Like, I loved watching. I can't imagine what it would have been if they made the finals too, just for that alone.
Oh yeah, think about that. You would have to put an alert. They would probably have to get military presence for those guys, so they're out of control.
But again, that's entertainment, right? That's what I want to see. You want to see that whole vibe of seeing the Knicks, who are perennial losers. Sorry, Kev, I had to say that, right? Perennial losers. And the fact that they thought they had a glimpse of hope to make it to the finals, that was hilarious.
I mean, they got a shot to go back, especially the way the East is laid out now. But go on, right?
Yeah, and don't forget, they got lucky because Detroit could have took their asses out, right? So we talk about parity. I mean, that's what you want to see. I don't want to see it scripted like every year. Like, it gets it scripted, right? I want to see, like, I like the fact it was different with two different teams. And I'll be honest, it was the most entertaining finals I've seen in a while, right? So
100%. No, I said 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I get it from the marketability standpoint. Fans, across the country, U.S. and Canada, who they like. You got your fans over here who love the Lakers. You got your fans over here who still love the Knicks. My son loves the Celtics, right? Those are those storied franchises.
Bye, Jaden.
Yeah,
ain't seen them for a while. Bye.
Oh, yeah, it's a wrap. But I'm excited to see next year is wide open. Like, the East is wide open, right? The West is, OKC got it, but again, we just talked about earlier in the pod. There's a lot of parity, like a lot of things that can happen. I'm all for it.
And to your point, I don't know what Detroit's offseason is about to look like next week, but depending on who they pick up, they might try to hurry up that cycle too, and try to get to where they go. Because listen, y'all know how I feel about Cade, man. So like that brother's a beast. You know what I mean? And very composed. Like, he is the next one coming up. So it look like they're surrounding him finally with the right amount of talent, and he's healthy. So if he can remain healthy for the next few years, oh boy, you don't want to see Detroit, especially with the Thompson twins and all that. Like, I know, Batch, me and you have spoken about this, how they're trying to go after Miles Turner. Yeah. I mean, based on how we played in the finals, maybe you could have him, because defensively he was okay, but man, offensively, I thought he was point shaving at times. Man, it was bad.
Point shaving.
It was bad. No, it was real. Like it was bad. The thing with the Knicks, though, just to circle back on them really quick, what to me was more jarring was, I think that was a little jarring, was watching the celebrities in the crowd, and I'm like, oh my God, am I getting old, or are we all getting old together? Because watching some of these guys run around going crazy, I'm like, yo, they look like they might put their hip out. Like, forget Spike Lee, but you see some of these actors, you're like, oh my God, yo, he's like, that's an old man.
Ozempic Fat Joe with his knees caving in.
Oh man.
all these old rappers fighting for courtside versus second row versus third row seating. But even some of the actors that you saw, I'm like, good Lord, like, yo, he's completely gray. You know, because like, you just, in my mind, I always remember them being a certain age, right? And you're just like, man, like, yo, we all getting old. Like, this is crazy. Like they had to really pimp out the Chalamet kid because he's representing.
That's his name, Chalamet. That's the kid from Dune, right?
Yeah. No, it's crazy, but I think like I think because of that Neek Clifford kid from Colorado State, he just got selected by. Oh man, he just went to OKC. Whew, okay, all right.
Sorry,
they might have got another one.
Liam still hasn't been picked, huh?
No. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. No, but I think the parity might be necessary for the league because I feel like the way the new cap is set up, I think it kind of forces parity. Number one, it kind of reverses the generation's hold, this previous generation's hold on super teams and all that shit. And this is how the league dealt with it. There's always a cause and effect to everything, right? You do the super team stuff for long enough, they're going to reverse it somehow, right? And I think, like I said, I think now they put a tombstone to that era now. And to me, I'm wondering too, because the fact that Silver made that a point of comment to make to start off the draft, I'm thinking about like the new NBA TV deals and everything that they've done, the media deals that they've done. And I'm like, especially when you look at Amazon and how they got rid of TNT because TNT wasn't like, they're trying to go after these streaming apps and, you know, like these tech conglomerates and stuff now. And those are the type of owners that are now coming into the league too, hedge fund guys and tech guys, you know? So I'm wondering like, I'm trying to connect the dots on how that aligns with parity. You know what I mean? Like it's like watching, it's like having those, like the Amazons and stuff, knowing that you can watch games any and everywhere. Doesn't matter where you are now. If you're a fan of the Thunder, you don't have to be living in Oklahoma City and worrying about their linear ratings. You know what I mean? Like the TV ratings in that region when like you saw what KD and Russell Westbrook and those guys were superstars from that region, right? So I don't think it really matters anymore, like in that aspect, right? You don't have to be in a big market to capitalize on being famous. I think between that, the whole social media aspect of like how that's dominating the world right now, maybe that's a reflection of where the league is trying to go with parity. I don't know. I think it's connected somehow. It's connected somehow, you know? But I look at this stuff and I'm kind of like, yeah, like for him to make that comment, I thought was interesting. You know what I mean? Like we're in a new age of parody. I'm like, that I don't think he said that by mistake. And not even being a conspiracy theorist. Like I do think it's something like he's, you know. So I think they're really leaning into that. You know, for whatever reason, I don't know if that's going to make them more money in the future, but given the hope that each fan base can feel like they have a shot to maybe win, like how the East is now, and all these teams now between, you know, that from Boston, Indiana, and Milwaukee, kind of like creating to these injuries, you know, like now that all these fan bases can pop up and feel like they really have a shot. I don't know. I think it's all connected somehow. But like I said, just the fact that he made that statement, like I said, that to me, that was not by accident. You know, so. But this quote unquote 2nd April, I call it a hard cap. Like where this is now, it's interesting because it's just really changing the league right before our eyes.
Boston. Take aside besides the fact that Tatum, got horribly injured, they still had a roster that could compete. But that apron, they had to get rid of them all.
Yeah. And I think how that second apron works too, it's more punitive if you're in that second apron like repeatedly, right? Like if you're in consecutive years, I think the tax is like 3 or 4 times extra or something like that. It's something crazy.
Yeah, plus the picks. So now you can't grab young talent for the cheap and have them grow into.
Oh, you lose picks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So now you're basically, if you want to stay in that tax bracket, then basically you're stuck paying that money for quite some time, because if you don't have the young talent on the cheap end, then basically you're picking up either free agents or mid levels or vet contracts. So really, it's tough for you to even compete now.
Yeah. And one thing about billionaires, just because they have billions doesn't mean they want to lose millions. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're in the business of making money. They're not in the business of losing hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what I mean? And being okay with that year after year. So so I think that's like the misnomer. Oh, he's got money. He's a billion. He's like, yo, he lost $80 million and they didn't win. So he can't make that back through ticket sales or jersey sales. Eventually that's going to stop. At least to me. But like I said, I feel like it's really interesting that like I said, again, we're in this era now, like full-fledged era of parity. We'll see what OKC does in the future. But right now I'm like, it's quite interesting to watch. Well, this draft is almost done. At least this first round. Orlando is selecting
Jace Richardson.
Oh, they picked up Jace Richardson. Okay. I didn't get a chance to really see him. How was he like this year? I didn't really watch Michigan State games this year.
I didn't really watch him too tough either. So
I watched a little bit. I mean, he's all right. I don't see the athleticism in him.
No, he's not his dad.
Yeah.
His younger brother is more like his dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is his younger brother in high school too?
Yeah, he went to the same about Columbus, that high school I went down to in Miami that I played.
Oh, okay.
So it's where the Boozer twins were.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see him play because I did watch one of those games.
Yeah.
He's a good. He plays with a lot of defensive intensity, from what I remember. A lot more, but I think it's more that clapping than really moving your feet type stuff, right? Flapping the floor, and then they get blown by, and you're like, you're out, Then they get a bucket on the fast break after a bucket, that kind of guy. I don't know.
You're saying this for Jace?
Yeah.
For Jace, or okay. Yeah, like I said, he's not as tall either. Like, how tall is he's? Like 6'2", 6'3".
6'1".
Oh, wow,
He's
okay.
6'1". He's a little shorter.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. But he still made it though, so good on him.
Yeah, I mean, he could score.
Yeah. Yeah, that Proctor kid is still available on Duke too. I thought he was pretty nice too.
Yeah, he's pretty solid too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like him. I like him. I mean, he's more league ready to me than Jace.
Yeah. No, bet.
Big guard.
No, you guys are right. So before we wrap, because I mean this draft is about to end. So who do you guys? Well, actually, yeah. Before we wrap, because we didn't really. I know we touched base on Oklahoma City. Number one, what did you guys feel about their run, like throughout this year and this playoffs? And then number two, who do you think can overtake them, at least right now? Because this is very early. Next week is free agency, so all this could change. But with all that said, what were your thoughts? I guess we'll start the first question first. What were your thoughts on how their season went?
We're talking OKC?
Yeah, OKC. Yeah.
I think as expected them to dominate. They continue from the year before. They added the pieces that was necessary. more so on the defensive end. I think with that Caruso pick, I think that kind of solidified the advantage on getting to the finals. Mind you, Denver, they pushed them to the limits though, and they did that with a hurting team. So I think to Rand's point earlier, where he said that they're beatable. I think if you go back to the film and you watch that series again, and you kind of see what did Denver do different than the other teams that faced them, and you kind of find the weaknesses, it'll be the scouting reports will be different this time around. Let's say that. OKC might not do the same thing next year. I hope they do, but I think now the way teams are now creating their roster, I think it's over. I think it's a one-time deal, man. It's always harder to get 2-3 in a row. They got their one,
but they're not losing anybody though. At least
doesn't matter though, man. It doesn't matter. Now we're doing scouting reports. If you got someone that has a usage rate that's extremely high, I don't know what Shea's usage rate is. I want to say maybe mid-30s or something like that. Could be 40s. Who knows? And you got to play through Chet and Jalen Williams. You definitely got to move that ball more. It can't be as dominant, so to say. That ball's got to move. So Shea played that type of game where the ball was moving in the regular season, but then it kind of stuck to him a little bit more in the playoffs, right? Except for Game 7. Game 7, he had 12 assists, which was needed. So, but now imagine Tyrese Halliburton doesn't go down because he came out cooking in those first couple minutes. So that game could have been different. But at the same time, with the Western Conference being so powerful, if I'm looking at OKC, I say feed the bigs and attack the paint. They don't really have strong bigs like that. Chet's still skinny. I don't want to call him frail, but he's still small. So him going up against Wemby, who put on another 30 pounds, that might be a problem. Shea going against
Wemby. These pictures of Wemby.
No, fair enough. Shea going against Wemby, going into the paint, he might get that shit tossed. So now you got to start playing from the outside. What shooters do they have outside of? Are we calling Dort a shooter or what? I feel like OKC needs some shooters right now.
I feel like that was a shot against Montreal, Randall.
No, there wasn't. Nah, I'm gonna leave them alone. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm not saying nothing about Montreal. Shout out to Montreal. Even though I don't speak French, all that business. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, OKC's gonna have to add, but they're not really adding the stuff that they didn't do well. Like the rebounding was okay, but it could be better. The shooting, it could be better.
Dort's a shooter.
So you're considering Dort a shooter then?
41% this season at the 3-point line.
Sac passe mambole.
Sac passe mambole.
Hey, you got translations on here?
I mean, 2.4 average 2.4 threes per game.
2.4, that's nothing though. In this era, that's nothing now.
But I mean, he didn't shoot a lot because the ball was in Shea's hands all the time.
Yeah, and he makes them. He makes them. 41%. You can't sneeze at that. He makes them.
Let's see what happens next year. I feel like we're gonna see. They're still gonna do well. Don't get me wrong. Do I see them in the top 3? I would actually say no to that.
Wow,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Is it though?
Yeah. That's
wow. Good. Okay. Listen, man. I'm a big fan of watching film. Yeah. I don't want you to win, so I'm gonna watch film. Let me find out ways. I play you 4 times. Why not?
Yeah. I agree with the film watching that part of it for sure. Terrell, what are your thoughts?
As far as teams that could match what OKC is going into next season with, I think San Antonio to me looks really good. I mean, I think they might be looking to make another move here to to pair somebody up with Wemby and De'Aaron Fox to see if he stays healthy. He's another one of those guys that could change some things. But I mean, on paper, I think San Antonio probably looks really, really strong going into next year in the West. Outside of your Denvers, your Minnesota, Houston, obviously, but yeah, San Antonio looks really good.
What about you, Randall? What are your thoughts on OKC this season as well, though? And I
mean, I said it earlier. I mean, I think, they were dominant. Like they listen, they kind of breezed through the regular season, and then they got to the playoffs and they did what they had to do, right? Like, how many times do you see the number one seed win a national, win a NBA championship, right? Yeah. So, they did what they had to do. Again, they're beatable, but I think they're going to be still dominant next season. Now, are they going to be first place, second place? I don't think they fall below third in the West. I can't see it. I can't see it. Now, playoffs.
And I think because they know how to win.
Yeah. When playoffs hit, you're right. Batch, you watch film, the whole other season. I would agree with you. They could get knocked out any round, right? Mm-hmm. Regular season, I don't see anyone. They got the synergies. They got the same cast of crew coming back. They're adding on young talent. I just don't. They even have the cap room to make a move to solidify themselves where they're weak, right? I think they need a little bit more consistent shooting. Their defense is great. The pace is great. Coached well. They have an identity. You can war plan all you want in the regular season, but they got that. They have the well-owned machine going. So I think they'll do well. In this season, they were that team. And like you said, Shea got to do, like, Shea had a phenomenal season, like a, memorable, historic, whatever adjectives you want to add in there. I think he'll have another great season, but I think there'll be a lot more game plans to shut him down. So, he's great with the ball in his hands, right? Let's see what happens when the ball's out of his hands. And maybe, like you talked about that, and I can't pronounce his name, that the draft pick that was injured all year that's coming over. That may be a good piece to push him off ball, right? So now you have because they didn't really have like, who else was really a point? Like Crusoe, he kind of plays the point,
Wallace.
Wallace kind of plays the point. They all kind of are that combo guard, right? They don't have a true point guard. I don't think they need it based on the style they play anyway. But I'm just wondering, would that type of player, right, that comes in and pushes Shea to the two, would that be beneficial? I don't know. I'm just calling it out, right? But yeah, I don't know.
I was gonna say, so Danny Wolf and Liam McNeely are the last two in the green room. So they're looking visibly shaken, especially Wolf. I don't know if he's gonna get drafted in the next couple. It's funny. I thought Wolf would have been drafted already.
He already got picked. He just got picked.
He just got picked by Brooklyn now. Okay, all right.
I think Danny Wolf.
Yeah.
Damn, McNeely dropped. He must have some bad workouts.
He's probably going to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because they need shooting bad too, though.
Yeah, they really do. They need a point guard, but they really do need that too.
Don't they still got Trey Jones? Or not Tyus Jones, sorry.
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah, they do, but he's a backup, man. He's not a starting guard.
Man, he's a starting guard, man.
Okay.
Or you go, or Boston may pick him up.
Yeah.
How many shooters? They got enough shooters already, though, no?
But that's all they like.
That's true, right?
Running out of the court, jacking threes is all they want to do.
Missoula watched that finals, and he's like, well, we're going to shoot 73s next year. You watch.
Yeah.
Wow. we're gonna get to 75 a game. That's how I feel. With OKC though, a couple things. Number one, they won 68 games in the regular season. I think 84 overall, but they won 68 games in the regular season, considering that Chet missed like 30 games, which is, I mean, they won without him, obviously, but I mean, they won at a high rate without him, obviously, but man, like that, I mean, would they have flirted with the best record in NBA history had he been, missed like at least, like if he was there for like at least 25 of those games, maybe? I don't know, but it's interesting to see that it like he missed all that time. He scares me a little bit because now he's like their third best prospect. Because I mean, I didn't think Jalen Williams was. I was actually shocked at some of the accolades that he got this year. He's really good, but I mean, he's already has a fractured hip and a broken foot for a guy that's like 7'1", 7'2", and not a he's a little light. So that kind of makes me nervous for his future. You know what I mean? Because those are pretty significant injuries, especially a fractured hip. Like that's pretty significant already. Shea had probably the best guard season outside of Jordan. Considering that he won a scoring title, all the MVPs, Finals MVP, and a champion and stuff. I mean, the only guard to do that in NBA history was Jordan, and he did it 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think they're set up well for the future, depending on what they do in the offseason. But I think the teams that can come at them the best, or is obviously I think Denver, because I think Denver just has to they got to solidify a little bit of a bench, or at least add a couple more guys to their bench. But we'll see what happens. Well, they're keeping Adelman, so I don't know if did they figure out who the GM's going to be now, or are they still looking at that?
True.
For Denver. They haven't figured that out yet, right?
No,
I don't think so.
No, they haven't figured that out yet. So them, I think Houston, Terrell, who was the team you mentioned again? That could Spurs. Yeah, I think Wemby's like somewhere working out right now with like Chet on his billboard, like like this dartboard. I think he wants to say they don't like each other. That's like the dirty little secret. They're two skinny guys are not fans of each other. So that's going to be interesting. Trying to think who the other team. I'm missing somebody. I want to say Minnesota, but I think they're going to be making some moves this offseason, so I don't know where they're going to fall, because they got to figure out the Naz Reid thing. And who am I? There's somebody I'm missing right now. I'm going to have to look this up, but there's somebody I'm missing. I'm clearly missing somebody from the West.
From the West?
Lakers.
Just got the Lakers.
Spoken like a guy that's not a Lakers fan. That's not biased.
Yeah, try not to be.
Well, you know what? I'll say that with the Lakers, though. They are going to getting that hedge fund or tech. No, he's not a tech guy, but the new owner of that team, like they're gonna really be building around Luka. I think this LeBron era is like officially gonna be over in the next by next season. I think it's like Luka full throttle.
Hopefully.
I know a team you're missing.
Who's the team?
You're missing Golden State.
That's right.
Yeah. What happens to Kuminga?
Forget Kuminga. Even if he leaves, there's still a problem. Why are you so unsure about Golden State though?
I mean, I like Butler. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what health does for that squad.
Let me ask you a question.
Steph's my guy, but Steph's getting older.
If Steph doesn't get injured, do they get out the next round?
Ooh.
Who they play in Minnesota?
Yeah.
It was close.
It'd be close.
It'd be close.
Now, if they got past Minnesota, do you see OKC beating them?
Golden State?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With these?
I don't know if with ease. I'd say with ease. I think I'd give Golden State maybe 2 games.
Wow.
That's not going 7.
Whoa.
That's not going 7. I didn't like what I saw from Butler. I thought Butler was going to go in Miami mode, at least that, when Curry went down, and he was still trying to be a Robin, which I don't know. I thought that was odd to me. I'm like, was he hurt? But he's done that before in his career, so I don't know. I didn't like how he played that like in that series at all. But no, that's a good question. Yeah, and that's another dirty little secret too. That Curry SGA matchup. So I feel like there's a little something there too.
Okay, so as much as I'm not a fan of the 3-ball, 3 is greater than 2. I'm just saying.
Are we gonna say Dallas?
I thought Dallas was already in there.
In the running, yeah, I guess they could be there too. They could be in the running too.
For sure, you got 3 Texas teams in there for sure. You got Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio.
Yeah.
San Antonio being the top for sure.
Yeah, and I guess whatever it's hard to say with Memphis right now because I don't know what they're doing either. I know what they're doing. They're cutting salary, but they could be one, but it depends on what kind of offseason they have. Because I mean, for all of Ja's idiosyncrasies to use that nice choice of words. I mean that guy's box office electric when he's right and rolling. You know what I mean? Like that's the instant 40 wins just him on the team healthy. But the problem is he's never healthy either. So I don't know. But they could be a team, but I don't actually know. I'm gonna take them out because I forgot Oklahoma. Like they basically sandbagged them the whole that series. That wasn't even close. So I won't even put them in there. And I think in the East, I think Cleveland right now should stand pat. I think the Knicks should stand pat. I think Philly should stand pat. Orlando's making moves. Detroit should make a move and get another vet or two. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Batch. And we said at the beginning of the pod, I think Atlanta might have something to offer too. Because especially if Jalen Johnson plays the whole season, like,
yo, you kill me. This man done named off everybody off his fantasy roster. Yeah. Oh man, it's killing me.
Yeah, no, let's get out of here. But thank you, brothers, for hopping on this live stream, man. Greatly appreciate all of you, and thank you, Terrell, first timer, man. Thank you, appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you guys.
Welcome to the Ave.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the Ave, sir, with your Kobe shirt. Staying loyal to the soil.
Yes, sir.
You gotta get him on with Jen.
Oh man. Oh, yeah. He's a diehard Laker. No, is he a diehard Laker fan or a diehard LeBron fan?
He's a LeBron fan.
He's a diehard LeBron fan. Like
that'd be a bad pod then.
Well, you know what? No, what? We're cutting out now, but really quickly, what do you think of this era now that they've sold the team? As a Laker guy,
I think it's great for Luka. I mean, like you said, it's the LeBron era is kind of over, and they have to move on because he's going to be done here in a few years. So, they're able to make some moves, especially with them needing to fill that big man spot and get a big this offseason and just get some more pieces around Luka and hope it works out. But yeah, they got a lot more money to spend with that new owner and see with his track record with the Dodgers. So I think things are looking up. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Hopefully they could work with Phoenix and maybe get one of those big guys because they have them all now. It seems like. And then it's the Luka and Bronny era, right? Right, Luka and Bronny era. Yeah.